Joe Valenti, my Uncle Joe. Come on up, it's Carol's brother, to share a few words about George. When he's finished, we're going to have an opportunity to share stories. I'll be passing around a mic. If anyone has a story, brief story they want to share of George, I'm happy to do that in a little bit, but I'll give you a little bit of time to think about if you have something to share.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Joe Valenti. I am Carol's brother. I am George's brother-in-law. But I'll tell you something. I feel more like his brother than his brother-in-law after 31 years. And how could you not? Because George was the real McCoy. George opened his heart, his soul, his mind, his home, everything he had to anyone who visited him, he met, he knew. His friends, maybe not his friends, but he's always the real McCoy. When you look at this smile on his face, that's a smile that comes from the soul. There's a lot of smiles, but this one comes from the soul, and it was always there when he would greet you. He would never say, "Hello, Joe." He would say, "Hello, Joe." That was it. You were welcome. And George welcomed everyone into his home and his heart, especially my sister, our family, his family, all of us. In some way, he touched each and every one of us in a very special way. Something was said here earlier by Pastor Peter about Peter Pan. Oh, Peter Pan. Peter Pan is a restaurant. It was a restaurant about 65 years ago, 70 years ago, on Madison Street, near Cicero Avenue, where George had just engaged in work. It was one of the first jobs he had, and he told me this story himself many, many years ago. I said, "George, when you arrived here, what did you do?" He says, "Well, I got a room. I got a job. I worked. I did okay." I said, "Oh." I said, "Where was the room?" He said, "It was on Washington Boulevard, near Cicero Avenue." Washington Boulevard, near Cicero Avenue. Peter Pan was on Madison Street, near Cicero Avenue. That was about a block and a half away. And Carol and I and our family were living on Jackson Boulevard, 5 blocks south. 5 blocks south on Jackson Boulevard, near Cicero Avenue. And we would go to Peter Pan when we'd go to the movies, which was right next door to the Peter Pan restaurant. Never, ever, ever thinking that perhaps, maybe, in some strange, mysterious way, that they would ever run across each other again in life. Who knows? And that's how life is. George had a tremendous sense of humor. Not only did he open his heart, but he was always happy. When we were in Florida, and he loved Florida. Florida was his ambition years and years before he ever moved there. We lived in a community of 55-year-old and older, and it was a beautiful community called Sea Haven. And we had a wonderful swimming pool there. And the residents, the ladies, used to walk around the pool, dressed and undressed or whatever. And George would say, "You know what a good-looking lady is called at Sea Haven when she walks around the pool?" I said, "No, George, what?" He said, "A visitor." feel much more than a brother-in-law. I felt like a brother to him, with affection, with love, with respect. He was a wonderful man. I'm going to miss him terribly, as you all will. I just want to say, we were all blessed to have George in our lives. God has blessed us. Opa!